You take me home and give me wings to fly. We can be alone in a castle in the sky. We can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home.
Hi there and welcome back to Storybook Crochet. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make these adorable little Easter eggs. I'll show you at the end as well how to make the little bows if you want to add those to your Easter eggs. So for your materials today we're going to be using a worsted yarn, and I have chose pink and purple for today's pattern. You're also going to need a 3.5 or US E-hook. You're going to need two 15mm safety eyes. Some white yarn, just a small length will do if you want to line the eyes here with the white yarn. You're going to need a yarn needle, a stitch marker, and some scissors. And then you'll need to grab some fiber fill to stuff your egg with. So let's grab all of our supplies and we'll get started. Alright, we're going to start making our egg by making a magic ring. So to do this, I wrap it around 3 fingers. So you're just going to hold that short tail there, wrap it around and cross it over the top. You're going to go underneath both pieces, grab the top length of yarn there, pull it under. Then I just hold it on my hook and remove that loop from your fingers, and then chain 1. And that will secure your magic ring. So in our magic ring, for round number 1, we're going to make 6 single crochets. Alright, once you have those 6 made, you're going to take that short tail and pull on it, and that's going to close that opening. So this completes round number 1, so you'll have 6 single crochets made. Alright, for round number 2, we're going to increase around, and this just means we're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch. So you're going to go into that first single crochet you made for round 1, and you're going to make 1 single crochet. Then you're going to go into the same stitch and make your second single crochet. So we turn that 1 stitch into 2. So you're going to repeat that in every stitch around, and this is going to give you a total of 12 single crochets at the end of round number 2. Alright, at this point I'm going to grab my stitch marker, and I put mine at the end of each round. Some people put theirs at the beginning, and that's just totally up to you on what your preference is there. So for round number 3, we're going to start out by making 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then you're going to increase or make 2 single crochets in the second stitch. And you're just going to repeat that pattern around, so 1 single crochet and then increase a total of 6 times, and this is going to give you 18 single crochets at the end of round number 3. Alright, moving on to round number 4, we're going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So there's no increasing in round number 4, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and this will again give you a total of 18 single crochets. Alright, for round number 5, we're going to start out by making 2 single crochets. So 1 and then 2. And then you're going to increase in the third stitch. And then you'll just repeat that around. So 2 single crochets and increase. And this is going to give you a total of 24 single crochets at the end of round number 5. Alright, and moving on to round number 6, we're just going to single crochet around. So just 1 in each stitch around, again giving you a total of 24 single crochets. For round 7, we're going to start off by making 3 single crochets. After your 3 are made, you'll increase in the 4th. So just like before, repeat that around, 3 single crochets and increase, 30 single crochets at the end of this round. For rounds 8 through 9, we will just be single crocheting around, so 1 in each stitch. So that will be 2 rounds total, with a total of 30 single crochets made. Alright, so moving on to round number 10, this will be our last increase round, and this time we're going to make 4 single crochets. After you get those 4 made, you'll increase in the 5th stitch. So just like our previous increase rounds, just repeat that around a total of 6 times. And this is going to give you a total of 36 stitches at the end of round number 10. For the next 4 rounds, that'll be rounds 11 through 14, you're just going to single crochet around. So again, that's just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around, for a total of 36 single crochets for each of those rounds. So go ahead and finish working through round 14, and then we'll meet back and we are going to move on to round 15 together. Alright, so this is what your egg should look like so far through round number 14. So moving on to round 15, we're going to go ahead and first start by making 4 single crochets. And then we're going to decrease, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. So I go under the front loop only here. So normally you go under both loops. We're just going to go under this front one, grab our yarn and pull it through, and then do the same thing in the next stitch. So go under that front loop, grab your yarn and pull it through. Then you're going to have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So we turn those 2 stitches into 1. So we're going to repeat that pattern around. So 4 single crochets. And then decrease. Alright, so just keep repeating that around, and this is going to give you a total of 30 single crochets at the end of this round. Alright, so before we move on to our next round, we're going to go ahead and insert our eyes. And again, I'm using 15 millimeters, so you'll need two eyes to put on. And we're going to put them in between rounds 12 and 13. So you can just count from the top: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So in between the 12th and the 13th rounds here, you're just going to insert your first eye. And then you're going to come over to where you have about 3 stitches between the 2 eyes, 2 to 3, just depending on how you want that to look. Okay, so find your placement. Once you're done with that, go ahead and snap the backs on. Okay, and then at this point, I grab a small length of white yarn and your yarn needle, and then I'm going to go ahead and line the eyes with white. I think it just gives it a little bit more character when you do that. So you're just going to come up through the inside of the egg here to the very top of the first eye. Pull that through, leaving a little bit of a tail here because we're going to tie that off at the end. Then I go about 3/4 the way down the side of the eye and then come back through the middle. Okay, and then just give that a little tug so it's snug against the eye. You can always add a small dab of glue underneath if you need to keep that down a little bit better. That seems to work pretty well. So then go ahead and repeat that for the second eye. Alright, and that's what that should look like. And then you're just going to tie it off on the inside. And I put about 3 knots in my yarn to hold it really good. Just don't tie too tight where it's like cinching them together, because then you won't have your round shape of your egg that you need. Okay, so when you're done with that, you can either cut that off or just stuff that inside of your egg. And that is what the eyes should look like. All right, so moving on to round 16, we're going to start out by making 3 single crochets. And then you're going to decrease. So again, you'll just repeat that pattern around and you will have a total of 24 single crochets made at the end of this round. All right, at this point you can start adding a little bit of fiber fill to your egg, and you'll just want to add more at the end of each round here just to fill that in all the way as you go. So go ahead and like stuff the top part here, get that going. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next round. For round 17, we're going to do 2 single crochets and decrease around. After round 17, you're going to have a total of 18 single crochets left. Just don't forget to add some more fiber fill at the end of this round. Alright, so round 18 will be our very last round of the egg here. So we're just going to start by making 1 single crochet and then decrease. And then you'll just repeat that 6 times around. So 1 single crochet and decrease, and this will leave you with 12 stitches at the end. Go ahead and finish stuffing, and then I'll show you how to close it off so we can finish our egg. Alright, so to finish this off, we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch there. Just pull that off. Pull a little bit longer of a tail as we're going to use that to close the opening. Alright, so you'll want to grab your yarn needle. Alright, and so to close the opening, I just come in through the next stitch and then out through the one after that. And then when you do that each time, just pull that tight so that cinches that closed. Kind of like a drawstring effect there. So you'll just do that all the way around. Okay, once you get to the end, just kind of go back and forth across the opening there, just to completely close that off. And then you'll just want to weave it through a few times just to secure that tail really well. Okay, and then once you do that, just go ahead and snip that off. You can kind of use the end of your needle there to kind of poke that through if it's sticking out a little bit. Alright, so our egg is finished. So next I'm going to show you how to make the bow to finish it off. Alright, so I'm going to use a light purple here to make my bow, and we're going to be working in rows this time. So you're going to start by making your slip knot, and then you're going to chain 7. Alright, so after you have your 7 made, we're going to start in that second chain from our hook, and you're just going to single crochet across. So at the end of row number 1 here, you're going to have 6 single crochets made. Alright, so once you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and then turn your piece over. So we're going to do 2 more rows, so rows 2 through 3, you're just going to single crochet across like you have been. So each of these rows will have 6 single crochets. Okay, once you get to the end of row 2, don't forget to chain 1 and turn. All right, and at the end of row number 3, we're going to go ahead and finish that off. Just cut a short tail. And then you're just going to weave both of these ends into the back of your bow, and then I'll show you how to finish the bow off. Okay, so at this point we have our little rectangle here. You're going to grab your yarn, and you're going to start by kind of holding the end of it to the back of the bow, and then you're just going to wrap tightly around the center as many times as you need to get the bow shape that you're wanting. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So at this point, just kind of hold that together and cut a little bit longer of a tail, as we're going to use that to sew it onto the egg. Okay, so just place that down. Go ahead and grab your yarn needle. And then to secure that center, I just go through the back of it here a few times just to make sure that doesn't come unraveled. Okay, so I usually go through a couple of times here. And that finishes off the bow there. So now we can use that same tail there to sew it onto the egg. All right, so I come down a little bit here and just kind of place it kind of in between the eyes and the top of the egg here. So you're just going to find your placement, and then you're going to go through one of the stitches on the egg and then come back through the center part of your bow. All right, and then you'll do the same thing going in the opposite direction. All right, so once you have that done, then you can just weave in this tail through the side of the bow here. And I just go through a couple of times just to make sure, again, that doesn't come undone. All right, so that is our little Easter egg finished. If you enjoyed this pattern, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and the bell icon so you get notified every time I have a new pattern out. I put them out every week, so you don't want to miss those. As always, thanks for joining me and happy crocheting.
Won't you take me home?